In Sapiens, we learned the epic story of where we came from. In Homo Deus, we explored the mind-bending possibilities of where we might be going. But what about right now? What about the chaotic, confusing, and overwhelming present? How are we supposed to navigate a world of artificial intelligence, fake news, political turmoil, and constant radical change? In his third major work, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, historian and philosopher Yuval Noah Harari brings his epic, long-term perspective down to earth. This book is not about the past or the distant future. It is a pragmatic and urgent toolkit for understanding the most pressing challenges of today. Today on Geeky Philosopher, we are going to explore this map for our bewildering times. This is not a book of easy answers, but a guide to asking the right questions so we can navigate the 21st century with clarity, wisdom, and resilience. So the first and most powerful challenge we face is a technological one. Harari argues that the twin revolutions in infotech, information technology, and biotechnology, are about to, well, change what it means to be human. The fusion of these two fields is actually giving us the power to hack human beings. An entity, whether it's a corporation or a government, with enough data about you and enough computing power can, honestly, understand your feelings, your desires, and your weaknesses better than you understand them yourself. This creates two immense dangers. The first is the rise of a massive, useless class. As AI becomes better than humans at more and more tasks, what will billions of people do for work? And what will be their economic and political value in a world run by super-intelligent algorithms? The second danger is the rise of digital dictatorships. For the first time in history, a totalitarian regime could have the power to monitor not just what its citizens do, but what they feel. It could create a system of total surveillance that reaches inside our own minds, manipulating our emotions and thoughts without us even realizing it. These, Harari argues, are not distant sci-fi threats, they are the immediate political challenges of our time. The problem is that, while our technological challenges are global, our political systems are still national. The old stories that organized our world in the 20th century are crumbling, and no new story has emerged to replace them. The liberal story, the story of free markets, human rights, and democracy, is in crisis. It was built for an industrial world and is struggling to cope with the disruptive power of AI and big data. In the face of this confusion, people are retreating into the old, familiar story of nationalism. But Harari argues that nationalism is a dangerously inadequate tool for our biggest problems. Climate change does not respect national borders. A pandemic does not respect national borders. And the AI revolution does not respect national borders. These are global problems that require global cooperation, yet we are retreating into our tribal caves. We are living in a moment of narrative collapse. We know the old stories don't work, but we haven't yet created a new shared story for the 21st century. How are we supposed to solve these massive problems when we can't even agree on basic facts? This brings us to the challenge of post-truth and fake news. Harari argues that while politicians have always lied, the new danger is that the very idea of objective truth is under attack. But he doesn't just blame the politicians or the social media companies, he forces us to look in the mirror. The truth is, humans are not rational creatures. We are storytelling animals. We prefer a good story to a dry fact. We are guided by our group identity and our emotional biases. This makes us incredibly vulnerable to disinformation. The solution, he argues, is not just to blame Facebook or demand that politicians tell the truth. The solution is to take personal responsibility. We must make a conscious effort to pay for high-quality journalism. We must read scientific literature. And most importantly, we must get to know our own biases. If a news story makes you feel a surge of righteous anger, that is a warning sign. That is the moment to be extra skeptical, not to immediately hit share. In a world where the grand stories of religion and political ideology are losing their power for many, How do we find a moral compass? How do we find meaning in a secular age? Harari argues that we don't need to believe in a myth to be a good person. We can find a deep and powerful morality in a very simple and real place, the understanding of suffering. Suffering is the most real thing in the world, and the core of a secular ethic is to act in ways that reduce suffering and not in ways that increase it. But to truly understand our own suffering and the suffering of others, we must first understand our own minds. This leads to Harari's most personal lesson, the importance of meditation and self-observation. He argues that most of us don't know who we are. We are a mystery to ourselves. We are run by the automatic reactions of our minds. The practice of meditation is not about finding some mystical bliss. It is the scientific and practical work of observing the flow of your own mind without judgment. It is the process of getting to know your own operating system. So after this tour of our immense and complex challenges, what is the single most important lesson? What is the one skill we all need to survive and flourish in the 21st century? So it's not coding, and it's not engineering. The single most important skill, Harari concludes, is, well, mental resilience. The world is changing faster than ever before. The job market of 2050 is a complete unknown. The political landscape is in constant flux. The only certainty is uncertainty. In such a world, the most vital skill is the ability to constantly learn, unlearn, and reinvent yourself. It's really the emotional stability to navigate periods of immense change without falling apart. It is the psychological flexibility to let go of old identities and embrace new ones. You will have to get used to the feeling of not knowing. 21 Lessons for the 21st Century is not a book of easy answers or comforting prophecies. It's a book of questions. It is a powerful and urgent call to think clearly about our present moment. It is an invitation to confront the challenges of technology and politics with courage. It's a plea to take responsibility for our own understanding of the world. And it's a guide to finding a personal sense of meaning and resilience in an age of confusion. The future is not something that happens to us. It is something we are creating, right now, with our choices, our actions, and the quality of our attention. Harari's great gift is to give us a clearer map of the territory we are all now navigating. The challenges of the 21st century are immense, but they are not insurmountable. The first and most important step is to have the courage to face them with clear eyes and an open mind. If you are someone who is committed to this difficult but essential work, the work of being a conscious and informed citizen of the 21st century, then you are a part of the solution. Consider subscribing to Geeky Philosopher, a community dedicated to exploring the ideas that shape our world. Thank you for your time, or